Hi, this is Anne, and I'm sitting here in Brooklyn in New York. And I'm super excited that I'm going to speak at the upcoming Supply Chain Technology Conference, which is taking place in the late September. It's a very special time. It's taking place. It's actually at the same time that the UN have their 75 years General Assembly taking place here in New York, and of course virtually. So what does that actually mean? It means that the Supply Chain Conference is taking place at the time where world leaders, civil society, CEOs, the humanity are coming together and speaking about purpose, which is so crucial at the time we live in right now, where we all are impacted by COVID. So what does that mean from a supply chain perspective? It means a lot. And it means that we all have big responsibilities. When we define a supply chain going forward, we need to make sure it is end-to-end sustainable. But before we go into that in details, and that's what I'm going to speak about at the conference, we need to understand how we live today. And that's why I want to introduce to you a new thinking, which is called Shelf Life by Sebastian Jeppesen and Stan Rapp. Shelf life is when we live online. And you all know, you all recall that we lived on farms, we lived in cities, and now we live online. And COVID have accelerated the adoption of what it means to live online. And whatever you are doing your schoolwork, or you're doing your work, or you're doing your grocery shopping, or you're doing your entertainment and communicating with people and friends, you can do all that online. And this is where we have the Fabulous Five, and you know some of them. The Fabulous Five is the Apple, the Amazon, the Google, the Microsoft, the Facebook, and so on and so forth, that today literally interact and support us in an online way. It is important that we understand what this means and we embrace it. It also gives us hope to understand that the way we are going to live going forward, even though we have done it for many years, is in a way that we are supported daily in an online way. So therefore, when we look at supply chains and we look at all the different companies of the world in all different kind of industries, they need to make sure that they can go in and provide inputs in an online way to their consumers, whether it's B2B or B2C. At the same time that you're looking into this, you also need to make sure that the way you build your solutions, you build your product, you go to market, that you do that in a sustainable way. And this is where at the beginning of the year, together with UN Global Compact and the General Secretary, launched the SDG Ambition. The SDG Ambition is a framework, a methodology, and it consists of 10 business benchmarks, which is a translation of the 17 global goals for the private sector. All of those 10 business benchmarks and the methodology framework behind it is all about taking purpose, whatever talk about climate, ocean, health, across all the 17 global goals. How do we incorporate it? How do we implement? How do we drive our digital transformation in our companies in a way that we actually take this purpose and integrate it into our business processes, into our process steps, into our data layer, into our enterprise architecture? We need to make sure going forward, when we build a supply chain that is end-to-end sustainable. And this is the responsibility that we all have. So I'm super excited in my panel that I'm going to speak about supply chain. How do we make supply chain sustainable using the SDG Ambition in a setting where we can support shelf life, where we interact with our consumers, our partners in an online way. Stay safe out there, and I look forward to be part of the Supply Chain Technology Conference in the end of September.